create now their stud value, their value, and gold value.
Chris Howard, man, awesome job, just incredible. In talk, just kind of talking on that what you just said. I had about an hour conversation with John Addison the other day, and we're in the process of kind of create a new compensation system, not fundamentally, but our bonus program works and all that. They're going to redo that, and this is what you're going to need to do to take advantage of that. All right. That's it. The company's talking about promote RVPs. They want you to promote RVPs. John wants you, and he has to say that. That's his, because we got to promote RVPs. But look at the people that are going to capitalize on this new compensation. I can't tell you the details of it, but let me just tell you, if you had a quarter of a brain in your head, okay, you would try to do exactly what I did, exactly what Chris is doing. Because whoever does that, big base, lots of firsts, you're going to make so much more money than I ever made. Alex, way more than I ever made. Way more. It's like unbelievable, right? It's going to be totally based on what you're going to make when you produce a good RVP is going to be incredible. But if they're not good, you ain't going to make any money. So you can't just go promote a bunch of RVPs just to promote RVPs like a lot of you did to get your SVP promotion and stuff like that, and your income stayed flat because you didn't do it right, okay? You got to promote good RVPs that know what they're doing. And I promise you, I'm excited about it, really excited about it, because I could see me personally exploding my income by doing that. But you got to build a big base shop. So, you're going to keep hearing that till you're sick and tired of hearing it. Okay. I mean, either you're going to do it or you're not going to. I'm just going to keep saying it. My job is not to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. My job is to get you to become successful. Okay. I'm not interested in making you feel warm and fuzzy. You guys are men and women. You're not children, right? There's certain things you have to do. And if you don't do them, then it ain't going to happen. If you do them, it will. This is the real world we're talking about here. And this is not, this is not school. So, some key things that you need to do. Hey, you think there's any money in the financial service business? I was looking at, did you see USA Today the other day? They had the top record CEO paychecks, huh? Sanford Weil, last year, $526 million. That's what he made last year. Did you know that? That's what Sandy made last year. $526 million last year, okay? It's like $40 million a month he makes. Highest paid CEO in America the last 10 years, over $1 billion in compensation over the last 10 years. This is $100 million a year average for 10 years. Last year, it's growing exponentially now because his business is growing exponentially, right? Just like yours will too, right? And he's built a great organization. He's done it a different way, but nevertheless, he's built a great organization, right? And he stayed focused. He's 67 years old. I had dinner with Sandy last Thursday night. I went to the Masters, and I had dinner with Sandy, and Pete Dawkins was there, and got to catch up with Pete. And I had dinner with Hal Sutton, who's a golfer, and this guy that was he's the executive vice president of the Getty Trust. Invited me to come have dinner and go see the Getty Museum, and the founder of WorldCom. I met some pretty interesting people. It was really a lot of fun, and they're going around the table. Everybody's introducing themselves, telling what they do, right? And everybody's like saying what they do. And of course, Sandy's there and all that. And then they get to Jan, and she goes, I'm a housewife. I'm a soccer mom. It was great. It was a lot of fun, But what it showed me is that there's more to do, And it's fun. You guys, it's just so much fun. I know it's hard work where you're at right now because it's just grind to get it going. I know that. I've been there. I've been through all the stuff you've going through. I've been there. I had the grind, where, I made $35,000 and $86,000, and I was killing myself and nothing was happening. I couldn't get anybody to go full time, and I didn't think I'd ever produce an RVP or anybody that was any good. And I went through all those feelings, right? I remember when I was putting I always wrote all my sales in the columnar book, those little 32-line columnar books. I write my sales, and I remember clearly the day when I would just go, oh, if I could just fill up one book in a month with 32 sales, I'd be so excited, I remember those days, right? But I never lost focus of what I had to do, right? And I just kept on staying focused. And I've had people come, and I've had people go, and people quit, and people stay. But I personally have never wavered. Never. My story's the same. My message is the same. My activity's the same. My demeanor's the same. My attitude's the same. I never let up. Whatever you guys have done, been here, not been here, big and excited, been mad at me, been excited, I don't care. It don't matter what you all do. Only thing I know that matters is what I do, because I can't control you. Heck, your wives and husbands can't even control you. How am I going to control you, right? So I never worried about that. That's why when you get caught up in what everybody's doing is stupid, right? Just get caught up in what you're doing. Get caught up in what you're doing. There will never be the day when you can control another human being, including your family. You can only control yourself. That's it. From now to the end of time, right? So any energy expended in trying to control other people is a colossal waste of time. Stop it. Stop it and start controlling you and your time and what you do. And you know what people will do? If they like what they see in you and the kind of results you're getting, the right people will work their tails off to try to get what you got. Right? Right, Carmen? You're trying to get what I got right now, right? Right, Alonzo? Right? Am I calling you, harassing you to get busy? No, I don't ever call you you call me, right? I don't ever call you. I call you Alex Magman. I never call you, right? Call you the other day, first time and probably ever. I don't know, right? I don't call you Jay to harass you, right? I just make sure I'm growing. Look, I post my numbers, $3 million in premium, $34 million in loans, $300,000 in income, all that. Hey, you want it? I'm going to tell you how to do it. Come get it, right? You don't want it? Don't do it. I don't care. But I ain't stopping, because I'm with you, man. I want to separate. This is our chance to separate. But we can't. Everybody's got to get collectively involved. I need Jay Knott to go think about building a $100,000 base shop and producing a $1 million hierarchy, right? That's what I need him to do, right? That's what I need him. I know Alex doing that, right? I need you thinking about doing that. I need Carmen. I need you to thinking about that. I need Chris to be thinking about taking his thing to $1 million this year, not next year, this year, right? And so all of us have a mission to keep growing and getting better, so that the people that are in our charge, the people that are watching us and following us, they can see that there's another place to go, that there's no limit, right? Hopefully by what I'm doing, you're seeing, man, you're making $30,000 a month, or $33,000 you make, Carmen. You're all pumped up. Why? I make 10 times that last month, buddy. You ain't anywhere yet. Don't be thinking you got it going yet. You don't have nothing going yet. Got a long ways to go. But the exciting thing is you can do it. And you're living okay right now. You're saving, let's say, probably 15, 20 grand last month, right? 16 grand you saved last month. So that's exciting, right? But see, the part of the role of leadership is to keep expanding the vision, expanding that there's more to do and more places to go. That's the role of leadership, right? That you can grow. You can be more. You can be better. Like you want with your kids, right? Don't you want your kids to think that there's no limits, right? Don't you want your kids to go, hey, anything's possible, right? My kids, hey, they watched us when we were broke, right? When they were little, we didn't have any money, right? And now we're doing very well, and they know what we did to get there, and they know that they need to do that, have that same kind of work ethic, right, in order to get there. They don't have any illusions. They think it's just going to happen to them. It's going to come to them. They know what they've got to do, and I've drilled that into them for years and years, right? They're not waiting for a handout. They know it's up to them, right? And that's the role of leadership, whether it's your family, whether it's your business. Hey, the best gift you can give people is to lead them. Be an example. There's nothing better than that. I'm not going to come recruit guys for you. I'm not going to come train your guys. I'm probably not going to even come speak to you for your people very much, okay? It's just time doesn't allow anymore, okay? You know what to do. Call me. You have questions, call me. I return phone calls. All you call me, I call you back, right? There ain't nobody calls me that I don't call them back. But get busy. This is what you got to do. This is one thing that's one of the challenges I'm seeing in our business right now that bothers me a little bit, all right? As good as things are going, this is what bothers me. Right now, for every recruit that we have in our organization, we're doing about either 2 or less life sales per recruit right now. If you look at your production, how many life sales you do last month, Carmen? 68, and how many recruits you have? 24, so you did about 3 almost, right? Pretty close to about 3, which is pretty good. That's higher than most people. That's higher than most. Well, I tell you, when I was growing my business like crazy, my average, like my big year, right, when I averaged 153 life sales a month, and I did average 32 recruits a month. That was 1988. That's 4.75 sales per recruit. That's what I averaged. Okay? Well, there's nobody in this room even close to that right now. Okay? And I tell you why that is. There's a reason for that. It's because you think, because people come to your Saturday training meetings, that they're actually learning how to do the business. Because they come to your Saturday training meetings. And you are wrong. You're dead wrong. That's not where they learn how to do the business. They learn a lot of things there. The real sharp, motivated people will pick things up at a meeting, okay? A lot of you are those people. A lot of you that are RVPs today are really sharp, okay? Mike Mendoza's really sharp, you know? I look, Carmen Renell is really a sharp guy, right? I think a lot of you are very, very sharp people. So when you come to a meeting, you hear all the stuff that Alex went over, for example, today, and you see it, you write your notes down, and you get it. You pick it up. You go, okay, I got that. That's a piece of cake. I can do that. And then this is where most of you blow it. You think because you get it like that all your people will get it like you get it. And that's where most of you stumble, and that's where most of you lose it, right there. That's the place right there. Because you assume that if they come to your meetings, they're actually learning the material. And it's not true, okay? Hey, our schools are a perfect example of that. Kids show up to classes every day in America, right? Public schools. They hear the lectures, but you know how many people actually get the material and understand? I just saw the reading. Did you see the reading numbers that came on the paper the other day? They spent like $1 trillion on reading over the last 20 years, and kids are reading at a lower level today than they ever have in America. Huh? And they're teaching them all this stuff. Teachers are teaching it, but the kids aren't getting it, right? Well, that's happening in Primerica too. You guys are teaching stuff. I'm not that you're not teaching stuff. I know you get up there and you go, well, I covered that stuff last Saturday. I covered that stuff, 4 times, and they don't get it. What's wrong with them? Right? I know you're saying that. Well, let me just tell you the secret. How did I get so much production out of those recruits? I'm going to tell you how I did it, exactly how I did it, okay? This is what you do. What you do is when you train people, right? When you train people, you check. Okay, I'm going to use the analogy I used on voice tell. You check it, okay? If you're learning how to fly an airplane, anybody ever do that? Anybody in here? Okay, quite a few of you, okay? So when you learn to fly an airplane, this is what happens. And correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty much this is how it works. First thing you learn, you have to go to class, right? You actually learn about something to do with aeronautics, lift and all the different things, right? You have to learn that. Then you go up with an instructor, right? And then they walk you through the thing. You watch them. You watch how they take off. You watch how they land. I don't know how many times you go up, but you go up probably multiple times, all right? Then it gets to the point when you get up there, the instructor actually lets you fly the airplane at some point, right? They actually let you fly it. And then at some point, they actually let you take the plane off. I think they let you take the plane off before they let you land it. Am I right about that? Okay, so they don't want you to kill them, all right? But all the while you're learning how to operate the plane, then you get through all that, then they let you go solo. Once the instructor has seen that you are competent, not once, but many, 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 many times, he has seen or she's seen that you're competent many, many times, then they allow you to take a plane up by yourself. But this is over an extended period of time this happens, right? And the whole time the trainer's sitting right next to you, watching you every step of the way, making sure you know how to take off, making sure you know how to land, making sure you know everything, right? If you take a spin, they go up there a lot of things, right? And then finally, when they're certain you know what you're doing, then they let you go solo, and then at some point, they let you do a cross country before you're done, right? I mean, that's the process of well, not in Primerica, you know what we do? We take them out on 2 or 3 or 4 training sales. We still show up to the meetings. Here's the presentation book. Here's a couple of tapes. Okay, go write a bunch of business. How stupid that is? You might as well let you, what they're going to do, they're going to crash and burn is what they're going to do. Only the very sharpest people have a chance to make it in most of your base shops. Anybody that's marginal has no chance in your base shop. You know why? Because you assume they know what they're doing and they don't. And you let them go fly the airplane by themselves, and then they crash and burn. They don't crash and burn. What happens? They get rejected. Not once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And they go, then this is what they start thinking. I'm not any good at this. I can't do this. I might as well quit. I can't stand the pain of all this rejection. And you know what else happens? They don't recruit anybody because they go, I don't know what I'm doing. If I recruit them, what am I going to do with them? And you think they're just afraid or they're lazy or whatever, and it's not ever that. It's always. And why don't we do that? Because it's tedious to teach people. I mean, to teach them how to fly an airplane, you're spending a lot of hours with those people. I mean, hours and hours and hours and hours, and it's tedious and it's redundant, and you've done it a million times, and you got to take them from step A to step Z. Every single new recruit, right? You got to take them step A, and it's just, you just get tired of it. So then what you start doing, you stop doing it yourself, and you start trying to get your guys to do it. So you don't have to go through all this boring redundancy. And now, you just might as well just shoot yourself because you ain't growing anymore. That's what happens. Exactly what happens. But so what do you do then? What you do is this is what I would do if I was you, okay? Before you let anybody go on an appointment by themselves, you or somebody that's really competent that you've checked to make sure they're competent, okay? You make them come in and sit down and go through all the motions of closing a sale, okay? From setting the appointment, how do they set the appointment? You start that part first, to actually, you should even role play them, knocking on the door, coming in, and how do they greet you, right, when they come in the house, right? Because is that important? How you greet the new, when you're taking a trainee out, how you greet and how you start, that, because the first 90 seconds, right, are critically important, and if the new person doesn't say and ask the right questions and conduct themselves in the right way, they're going to have a hard time doing any business there. So they've got to know how to do that, all the way from knocking on the door to, hello, my name's Hector LaMarque. Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate you taking the time to allow me to, sit down with you and Carmen, and you do, whatever you do, okay? I mean, there's a way you start off, right? And then when you come in the house, what do you do when you come in the house? What I used to do is I'd be looking around the house to find some common ground, right? I'd be looking for something in that house, right, that I could pick out, that I could say, hey, I've got one of those. Where'd you get that at? Oh, you like basketball. Oh, you like this. I'd be looking for some common ground, right? Well, you know what? A new recruit doesn't know to do that, right? Unless you teach them to do that, they just go at, they're all stiff and everything. They go in and just try to sit down, and they don't create any rapport, any warmth, any trust. You see? You got to teach them how to do that. Don't assume that they know how to do that. You teach them how to do that. Then when they sit down, even from the point of teach them how to get people, when you go in somebody's house and they go, well, let's go sit in the living room. Well, a new person would just let that happen, right? You go, no, we need to go to the kitchen table. Oh, but the table's messed. Okay, I'll help you clean it up. Let's clean it up. Get the stuff off. And by the way, Martin, I want you to sit right here. Denise, would you sit right here? And George, you sit over here. And you control it. But see, if you don't teach them how to do that, and you assume they're going to get that, then they're not going to know how to do it, and then they're not going to get the kind of results you would get, right? And then how do you start that first page? See what I would do if I was you guys? That 6-page presentation. I don't know if you use that or whatever you use, okay? If I would use a 6-page. You know why? Because it's duplicable. That's why. That's the reason I'd use it. it doesn't matter. The presentation is not that important. What's important is that it's duplicable. If you have something that's complicated, you're going to have the new person looking at something, whatever you do, if it's complicated, where you have to have a lot of memorization, they're going to go, I can't remember all that. I'll never be able to do this. I don't want them thinking that. I want them thinking, whoa, that's easy. All I have to read that? That's a piece of cake. I want them thinking that. I don't want them thinking about having to memorize anything, okay? So I'd sit down with them and I'd say, okay, Alex, let's go over the first page. And then I'd sit there and listen. And then I would see immediately that he probably didn't ask the right question here. And he should have mentioned this and he should have mentioned that. And he should have, and right away, as soon as he finishes that, it takes 3-4 minutes a page, right? Okay. And I'd stop him right there and I'd say, okay, Alex, that was pretty good, okay? But what I want you to do next time is I want you to make sure you ask this question, write this down, and I want you to make sure you point this out, and you do this, and you do that, whatever it is you want to do. Okay, now do it again for me, all right? Take another 3 minutes, go through it again, but I want you to cover the stuff I just went over, and then you'll do it again, and then you know what? You'll probably get it a little bit better, but it'll be screwed up. I say, okay, let's go over it one more time, and I would do that 2, 3, 4, 5 times until I knew you did that first page exactly like I did it. Because I know that if you do every part of that presentation exactly like me, you're going to be closing 9 out of 10 people. And then I'm going to be able to trust you, right? If you can close 9 out of 10, I'm going to be able to trust you to take any new recruit I have out when I'm too busy with somebody else. You see? That's the key to exploding your business, is that you need to have 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 people in your base shop that you know because you checked that their presentation and everything's just like yours, so that you can then become an aggressive recruiter and go recruit 8, 9, 10, 12 people a month yourself, knowing that you don't have to train them all because you have 7, 8, 9, 10 really well-trained people in your base shop, that as you get these people going, you can cherry pick. Let's say you recruit 10 people or whatever the number is, but out of 10, there's only 3 that really you should personally train because they're in the market. They've got tons of credibility. They're sharp, all that. Now, I'm going to personally train these 3 people. I'm going to cherry pick, right? And then there's other 7, Alex. I'm going to have Martin train them. I'm going to have, Daniel train them. I'm going to have George train these other people for me, right? That's what I'm going to do. And what you start doing now, right? And if their closing ratio is really high because you checked, they're closing 9 out of 10. Now for every recruit, that's how you get it from 2 to 4 or 5. See? But if you don't check because you're too damn lazy to do this, right? Because that's what it amounts to. When you don't do this, it's just you're lazy. That's it, okay? Because you can't tell me there's not time, because if I was you and you were serious about getting wealthy and building a business, I'd be getting up at 5 in the morning to do this. I'd be staying up at 11 o'clock at night and meeting people at midnight to do this. I would be doing whatever it took, because once they're trained, right, they're done. You don't have to retrain them. Once you got them trained, right? It's like riding a bike. Once you know how to do it, right, John, you know how to do it. You don't have to retrain them. And if you don't invest the time up front to do that, am I making any sense here, okay? See, this for most of you, you think it's some exotic thing that you have to do to grow your business. This is it. It's really fundamental. It's really basic. It's really boring, okay? It's really boring. But see, you can't get bored doing those things, because those are the things that make you wealthy, folks. Those are the things. Hey, folks, you watch Tiger this weekend? Anybody watch that? It's a historic thing. Impressive as all get out, right? Honestly, he didn't really play that well. He didn't play like he played at the U.S. Open, but he still beat these guys. And you know what he does every single time? He has a routine. His routine never changes. If you watch him, you probably don't pay attention like I do, but when I pay attention, right, everything he does, there is an exact routine that he follows every time. When he pre-shot routine, the things he does, when he sets up and every single thing, if you pay attention, there is a routine and it never changes. When he's putting, he goes through a very meticulous routine. And it's always the same. Always, right? John, you're a baseball player. When you're a hitter, you have a routine when you go up to the plate, right? All great hitters have a routine. They follow and they don't deviate from that. You know that, right? Okay, so do golfers, so do everything out. You watch guys that shoot free throws in games. They have a certain routine. Some guys bounce it 3 times. They do the weird things, and then they shoot a free throw, right? There's a routine. Well, folks, you've got to create that routine in your business with your people. There's got to be a routine that everybody follows, and it's always the same, because when you have a routine now, what the routine does for you, it helps to decrease being nervous. It gets you in the moment and it stops you thinking about what's going on. That's the reason for a routine, okay, is it gets you in the moment. You got to have a routine. And folks, all of you that are doing really great, hey, Ron, you have a routine. When you go into somebody's house, from the minute you knock on the door, right, to the minute you walk out the door with a check, Ron Morales has a routine. I don't know what it is, but I know you have one, okay? But see, do your people have your routine down? See, if they don't, and if you haven't taken the time to teach them, how are you going to develop anybody? See, like what I did with Chris is I had him follow routine, right? Once he got it down, now he does a lot of his own stuff. He's creative and all that. But initially I go, do that like this, like this, like this. I want you to do this, 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 right? I mean, when I first came to Las Vegas, every time I went there, I was there every week for 2 days for months, right? I'd come, I'd stay there, and I'd spend nothing but time with you, right? That's what I did when I first started working with him. And almost all the training I did, I don't know if he remembers this, was entirely fundamentals. I didn't talk about motivation. It was how to go through a policy. This is how you close, have people come up, overcome objections, show them how to do it, how to set up an appointment. That's all I did with them. Because these guys didn't have any problem with work ethic. They had a problem, their technique sucked. That's what their problem was. They worked hard. He never had a problem. He's the hardest working guy I've ever seen, right? I don't know. It wasn't the issue. It's just that his technique wasn't any good. He was just doing what he knew what didn't work. So what I worked on was getting this technique down, right? And once they got the technique, and I got everybody buying into the Hopkins and all the things, all of a sudden the numbers just started taking off. Everybody's confidence started growing. Remember that? And then all of a sudden everybody started saying, I could do this thing. Shoot, I'm pretty good, right? And they start duplicating. And all I ever talked to him about, you got to duplicate, you got to train, you got to. The other day, I call him on the phone, right? He had a great recruiting month. And you know what? First thing I told him, Chris, this is what you got to do. You got to get totally focused on the fundamentals right now. You got all these new people coming in. You got to get right back to the basics, how to set up an appointment, how to do a great presentation, how to close, how to get a commitment, that's what I talked to him about. Because, folks, that's all there is. That's all there is. That's all there ever is going to be. It's those things. How to set up an appointment, how to do a great presentation, and how to close. And closing's the whole deal, right? This is the thing where you should spend a lot of time on, closing. You got to get that tape I did, and that'll help you a lot because you can get people listening to it when you're not with them, okay? Overcoming objections, because look, the only thing standing between you, the only thing standing between your people and them having a lot of success is their ability to overcome people's reservations. I'm too busy. I already have an agent. I already have insurance. I already have an investment advisor. I already have whatever they are, right? You know what they are? There's like 10 to 12 to 15 real common basic objections that constantly reappear, right? That's all that happens. And if you're not adept at overcoming those, right, you're going to struggle in our business. But if you are, Jay, right, it's not hard. Our business isn't hard, okay? But you still first have to learn that, right? And if you don't learn that, then you're going to struggle. And if you're not constantly after people about doing that, I mean, remember, Steve, when you came in my office that day and we had that famous conversation, right? And he was like whining about he's struggling with this thing and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay. And I threw about 4 or 5 objections at him and he's going, oh, stumbling, right? I said, well, no wonder you can't overcome one objection. How the hell do you expect to do any business? I said, don't come back and talk to me again until you master these things. You listen to the Hopkins tapes and you get this down. And when you got that down, then come talk to me. Come see me, right? Because he hadn't put the effort yet to do that, right? Then he goes and does that, and then it's over with, right? No problem now. So this is really important. This is the difference, I'm telling you right now, okay? Recruiting, fundamental training, fundamentals, 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 okay? Don't get bored with it, right? You can't get bored with it. You gotta go over and over this stuff. Folks, as you got recruiting going, you really have it going. And, that's it. That's it for you guys. That's all you got to do, really, honestly. Right? Because, that's why I always ask this. You heard me ask this question a lot of time. What would your business look like if, Alex, what would your base shop look like if you had 25 guys in your base that were as competent as you were? I mean, as well as you're doing right now, you're doing a good job. You probably don't have but 2 or 3 or 4 guys that are anywhere close to being as good. What if you had 10 or 15 that were like you? Thank you very much. Yes, you would. With the kind of recruiting you're doing right now, imagine you're doing 40 recruits a month and you're averaging 4 sales per recruit. That's 160 apps a month. Huh? That's what it is. The saddest thing is where you see people that are doing 40, 50, 60 recruits a month and they're doing 30 grand in their base shop. You know what's happening in that base shop? You know what those people are thinking? They're thinking, man, I'm recruiting all these people. They said if I recruit people, I'd be successful. And I'm not. I'm not making any money. This isn't working. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I must be a loser. That's what they're thinking. And that's not good. That's not good at all. So I got to share this with you. I did this on the voice tell the other day, but this is such a great thing. I can't not share it again. I got to share it with you again. Decisions, because this is the key right here. It's all choice. Right? You hear me say this over and over again. I'm going to constantly say this because I've had lots of conversations with a lot of different people, and the thing that screws up more people than anything I ever seen is that people aren't having come to the realization that your choices really are the culprit for your situation. It's nothing but the choices you make. Your situation is 100% entirely a result of choices you've made and that you're going to make. Okay, so if you want to change your situation, you need to change your choice selection. So that's it. Okay, like I just went over all this stuff, right? Now, some of you are going to actually go back and sit down with your key people, right? And I would only do this with your key people. And you're going to make sure that they really know what they're doing, Jay. Okay, some of you are going to do that, okay? And some of you are going to go, well, it's too much time. I don't really want to do that. I'm going to just keep doing it like I'm doing it, and we'll see what happens. That's what's going to happen. There's no doubt in my mind about this. Some of you are not going to do what I just said. Some of you are. All right? But the choice you make either way is going to determine the outcome. Don't you ever for a second ever think that every choice doesn't have a consequence, because everyone does. Every choice we make, whether even it's a thought choice, every choice we make either moves us closer to or further away from our intended goal. Always. So the key to being successful has been, always will be, how do you choose? What's your choice? What's your choice selection like? That's it. In the end, that's it. I was talking to my buddy yesterday, who's a very, very successful guy, and he goes, have you noticed how a lot of people think that you're lucky, Hector, that you're successful? I said, yeah, most people think that. They think I was in the right place at the right time. That's a bunch of crap, okay? I'm successful because I made a lot of really good choices. Not 100%, but enough, more good choices than bad choices, I made a choice. Number one, I made a choice to go to college. Nobody in my family went to college. I went. I made that choice. They could have made the same choice, but I made the choice, okay? I made the choice when I went to college to actually study. I made the choice when I got out of school to get a job in sales, right? And then when I got into sales, I made the choice to go do tons of research and read every book I can get my hands on, right? And go to every seminar I could go to. I made that choice to master that profession, right? Before I got here. And then when I got here, I made the choice to get wide and recruit a lot of directs. And I made a lot of choices, right? And I've made the choice to continuously improve myself over all those years and not think I know everything, right? I made that choice. So I made a lot of good choices with my time. And that's the reason I'm successful. There's no luck, no God blessed me and all that stuff, right? God blesses you all exactly the same. Just like me, just like you, we're blessed exactly the same. Exactly, okay? Except some of you aren't making so good choices yet. You haven't made all the good choices yet, right? And the good news is it doesn't matter about the past. It only matters what you do now. That's the good news, right? So if your situation ain't great right now, what's your choice? What are the choices you're going to make today and tomorrow and the next? And then that'll create a whole new reality for you in the future. It's that simple. It's not some abstract thing. Okay. Decisions. This is a book by Neil Bortz. He's America's best male talk show host. That's what he was. Anyway, it's an incredible book. It's called The Terrible Truth About Liberals. But it's not about that. It's about the things he talks about are just phenomenal, all right, in this thing. Because I have a confession. I just absolutely love tweaking liberals. I know just the words, statements, and phrases that will launch them out of their socks into orbit. Here's one such statement, okay? And folks, we have a lot of liberals in our business. Even though they don't think they're liberals, okay, they are. Barring extreme physical and mental disabilities, each and every one of us is where we are today, be it poor or wealthy, happy or sad, on the streets or in a condo, in a Mercedes or a rusted-out Pinto, because of the choices we have made during our lives. It's the choices we have made that put us where we are, not the choices others have made for us. This statement brings the mental lava boiling to the surface of many people. First, it bothers liberals because they don't like the idea that people are in any way responsible for their lot in life. Liberals believe that people are either lucky or unlucky and that it is government that must compensate for the fickle finger of fate. If you convince people that they, not government, are actually responsible for their fate, the role of government becomes less important. Isn't it true? This would make big government liberals very unhappy indeed. The statement also brings howls of pain from life's losers. This is the best part because as I go through this, you're going to recognize all kinds of people that you've recruited in your business, okay? Imagine that you're 40 years old, still renting an apartment, you have a 6-year-old car that isn't paid for, not one penny in a savings account, no retirement plan, you're starting your 14th job next Monday, and you're getting a bit weary of seeing your face on the deadbeat dad's public service announcement on television. Along comes some right-wing reactionary clown, it's like me, okay, saying you are in that position because of the choices you've made during your life. Like hell, it's not your fault that you can't keep a job. All of those people you were working for were just unreasonable in their demands. You couldn't control the traffic that made you late so many times, and it certainly wasn't your fault that your car kept breaking down, lousy American cars. Savings, retirement, how in the world can you save anything with the price of a six-pack and all? Those greedy businessmen just won't pay enough to allow you to save. What about the child support? That judge knew that you couldn't afford to pay that much money in child support. You have to live too. Sure, you could have sent her something every month and she might have been satisfied, but she's just trying to ruin your life and you aren't going to fall for that again. Those people out there with their own homes and their good jobs and fancy cars, they were just lucky. They got all the breaks. Nobody out there even wants to give you a chance. Our whining little friend just can't or won't see reality. Obviously, he isn't educated well enough or doesn't have the job skills to get a good high-paying job. If you could rewind a tape of his life and watch it on fast forward, you would see him making choice after choice that led to his failure to acquire an education. The choice to clown around in class rather than pay attention. The choice to watch television rather than do homework. The choice to play touch football with other kids rather than study for that test. The grand overview will show that he chose not to become educated. The poor choices keep mounting. The choice not to leave home earlier so that the traffic wouldn't make him late for work. The choice to spend money on a fishing trip instead of keeping his car in running condition. The choice to leave work early for a beer with the guys instead of staying a bit longer to wrap up some loose ends. The choice to turn down that after-hours training program that could have given him more job skills. And who can imagine the choices he made that got him into his child support trouble? At the head of the list might be the choice to have children that he and his wife could not yet afford to raise. This led to financial hardships in the marriage and the number one cause of divorce, by the way. And finally, to his deadbeat dad picture on the television. So why does our sad friend get so outraged when I come yammering with my admonition that his own choices put him where he is? Simple. It's because he's being told that he is responsible for what has happened to him. Him, not his boss, not his teachers, not his wife, not the children, not the judge, but him. If you haven't already noticed it, people will do anything, say anything, believe anything to escape accepting responsibility for their own lives. One of the greatest signs of maturity in any individual are the words, "It's my fault, I'm responsible, I made some really stupid decisions, but I'm not going to let it happen again." If you ever hear someone utter those words, hire him. Once you get about 10 of them around you, you can own the world. Don't wait until it's too late to recognize the importance of good decision-making. Human beings are the only creatures who have the ability to analyze several complicated courses of action and then choose the one they think will best move them toward their goal. You understand? We're the only beings on earth that can analyze what we should and shouldn't do and then choose the course of action that best suits us. And even though we're there, most people still don't even think about it and they don't make the right choices, right? But it's not because they're not able. It's not because you're not able. That's your gift. That's your gift. That's the gift from God right there. That's it right there. Choice. Don't waste it. If you make the right choices, revel in them. Celebrate your success. If you make poor choices, accept responsibility for them. Remember, there are always more choices to be made, and the right ones will move you further towards your own idea of success and happiness. And when those liberals tell you that you're just a victim of a poor economy or that you're being oppressed by an unfriendly marketplace, try to remember their motivation. They want to take care of you. They can't do that if you learn to take care of yourself. Hey, is the economy kind of in a stupor right now? Unemployment's at the highest it's been for a while. Layoffs like crazy. Lots of issues happening. The Chinese thing, the market, the Nasdaq's down like 75% or something like that. It's some ridiculous number, right? I mean, all kinds of stuff's happening. But you know what's happening? My business is exploding right now. I'm doing better than I've ever done before. See, it doesn't matter what's happening out there. It only matters what's happening with you. See, that's the key. Those less fortunate, and this is important. I want to share this with you because a lot of you are starting to do well right now. Okay, a lot of you are starting to make, you're starting to make a lot of money, right? 33 grand is a lot of money, right? I mean, I was looking at, you guys are starting to make some money right now, right? I mean, Mac and Vans, you guys are making some money, 20 some grand, or I probably make 40 grand this month. You're starting to make some money right now. A lot of you are doing very, very well. And I tell you, one of the dangerous things about when you start making money is that you start feeling like you're lucky or you're just fortunate, right? And that's wrong. Listen to this. Those less fortunate, right? One of the principal joys of doing, see, you know why I don't feel sorry for anybody? Like why I never worried about if people do well or don't, because I always watch the choices they make, and I let them take responsibility for the choices, good and bad, right? And I take responsibility for my own. And when people don't do well, I can always pinpoint they didn't show up all the meetings, they didn't read all the books I told them to read, they didn't listen to all the tapes, they didn't do certain things, right? They chose not to do all the things I told them to do that would make them successful. They didn't choose that, and then they want to blame me for why they're not doing well. No, it ain't going to happen. No, right? I tell people to get wide, I tell people to hire directs, they don't do it, and then they want to blame me for why they're not doing well? They know how to hire people, they know how to recruit people, they don't choose to do it. That ain't my problem, right? It's not like I have tapes and all kinds of stuff on how to do it, right? It's not like you don't know how to do it. You choose not to do it. One of the principal joys of doing a talk show is having the daily opportunity to argue with liberals. You just can't believe how entertaining it can be to engage in verbal combat with people who are totally, anyways, the language of the left becomes important. It says there is one phrase from the language of the left that bothers me more than most, maybe because it's grossly overused and is a particular favorite of liberals. You have heard it before, and you will continue to hear it time and time again. It rolls off the tongues of hypersensitive left-wing news anchors and reporters out of the printers of liberal newspaper columnists and editorialists with abandon. The phrase, the less fortunate. The phrase is used to refer to people who are not what you might, even in a moment of charity, call winners. We're talking about single women with children they can't afford to raise, fathers who abandon their children, high school dropouts with no job prospects, drug addicts and winos begging for money for their next hit, and various other easily recognizable losers. These people, according to the media, are the less fortunate. You read about them in such offerings as welfare reform, which will make life more difficult for the less fortunate, or the rich can afford to pay a little more in taxes. After all, they have the money, and they should be willing to offer a helping hand to those less fortunate. When the media types describe the urban outdoorsman, that's what he calls homeless, winos, drug addicts, high school dropouts, and various other losers as the less fortunate, this is important. When they call these people the less fortunate, they're implying that those of us who managed to escape this lifestyle, who actually became productive citizens, did so because we were simply more fortunate. In other words, we were just flat lucky. Are you all just lucky because you chose to get busy? Robert Reich, Clinton's former Secretary of Labor and one of the most liberal advisors, liked to refer to the top 20% of income earners in the United States as the fortunate fifth. Bring out those dictionaries. My Webster's defines fortunate as deriving good from an unexpected source. Think about this for a moment. Is there anything unexpected about deriving good from hard work? Is there anything unexpected about deriving good from living a life free of illegal drugs with only a moderate consumption of alcohol? Is there anything unexpected about deriving good from staying in school, not getting pregnant, developing marketable skills, and getting a job? Hardly. Fortunate or luck has little to do with it. Luck, they say, is nothing less than opportunity met by preparation. If you work hard, take advantage of the opportunities you have living in America, and keep your nose clean, then you will succeed. And it won't be because you were fortunate or lucky. It will be because you made smart choices and worked hard. So what about the poor? Can we say that their situation in life is unexpected? Are they really the victims of poor fortune? Hardly. There's nothing unexpected about failing to find a good job if you can't read or communicate in the English language, right? And even if you can't, there's nothing that precludes you from learning how to do that, right? There's free education in this country. You can get educated for free here. There is nothing unexpected about not being able to put food on a child's table if you have the child at the age of 17 or 18 without any means of supporting them. There's nothing unexpected about not being able to hold onto a good job if you can't bring your lazy rear end to work each and every day at the proper time. And if you don't have enough character to do what is expected of you, if not more, in return for your paycheck. There's nothing unexpected about not being able to hold a job and earn a living if you make the choice to screw up your mind through the use of illegal drugs or alcohol. And it's a choice, at least initially, barring mental or physical disaster. Poverty is not a matter of luck, it's a matter of fortune. It is the predictable result of poor decision-making, irresponsibility, and laziness. The poor are not the less fortunate. They are instead the more responsible. They put themselves there, and they drag their children into the status with them. They are the less prepared, the less diligent, and the less able. They weren't unlucky. They did it to themselves. Now, some of you don't like hearing that because you don't understand. There's some situations. If you dig deep, there's always a way out. Always a way out. How then do we account for the popularity of less fortunate phrase when referring to people who are more often than not have done nothing less than completely squander their American birthright? Here's the logic. Please observe the workings of liberal mind. Imagine that you are a modern big government liberal. You believe that America is great because of its government, not because of its people. You want more government programs and more spending. You're just brimming over with compassion for the less fortunate. You feel their pain. You're such a good and wonderful person. One of the things you as a liberal really like about government is that it has the power to use its legal monopoly on the use of force to level the playing field, so to speak, by redistributing income. You believe wholeheartedly in taking from the rich, giving to the poor. It is not enough to strive for equal opportunity. The true goal must be equal quality of results. A nice, well-ordered, egalitarian society. Now, if it is your goal to take money away from people who worked hard and earned it, and then give that money to the people who did not earn it, you're going to need a convincing story or an excuse or a reason. Well, how's this? Those people with all the money got that way because they were lucky. They were just fortunate. So now it makes it okay to take it away from them because they didn't earn it, right? You didn't earn it, Alex, right? Because the government came in and met with all those recruits of yours and trained them all for you, right? Huh? And they made all the calls for you, and they got up and worked from 8 in the morning to 1 o'clock in the morning for you 4 or 5 days a week for you, didn't they? Yeah, it was a government work program that did that for you, right? Who's doing it for you? Who's doing it for you? Who's going to build your business for you? You are, and no one else, right? And you know what? You offer this opportunity. Some of you are doing very well, right? And you weren't doing very well before, maybe, or not as well. And no one did it for you, right? And you offer the same opportunity, right? Anybody that wants to do it, is there anybody not willing to help somebody that says, I want to do that business and learn it from you? Huh? Right? Not a one of you, right? So that's why you don't need to feel sorry for anybody. You will come to me all the time asking me for money, right? If you start making money, everybody wants your money. Calling you. I get bombarded with requests for donations every friggin' day, okay? Literally. Everything in the mail, I have a request for money. Please send me some money, right? They don't even know me. They send me some money, right? And when your people start coming to you, asking you for money, this is what you tell them. Hey, listen, I tell you what, I ain't going to give you any of my money because I don't want to ruin our relationship. But I tell you, you set up some appointments. I'll go on those appointments to you. I'll help you close them. I'll teach you how to close them. I'll help you make some money. I'll teach you how to do it, and then you'll be set. You never see those people again. You never see them again. They're gone. They're history. Right? I said, look, people come, you know what? I've got this thing, if you support it and blah, blah. I said, look, I tell you what, come in my business. I'll teach you how to make $100,000, $1 million, or whatever you want, and then you can support that thing yourself. Okay? Never see them again. Because see, people don't want to work, they want your money. Right? Don't you ever feel guilty about doing well, because if you do well, it's because of the choices you made. That's why. No other reason but that. Because everybody in America, if they live in California for sure, right, or even the United States of 50 contiguous states, they all have the same opportunity if they're willing. It's not like there's no opportunity out there and there's no information. Heck, if you get on the internet, there's like a bazillion, and there's so much information on how to be successful, it's ridiculous if you will avail yourselves of it, right? And in Primerica, there's all these successful people that if you call them and ask for help or a guidance or advice, they'd give it to you for free, right? I will. So there's no excuse not to do well. So if people don't do well, let them take responsibility for it, okay? Let them. Don't worry about them. You worry about you, set a good example. If they're willing to get help, help them, right? That's all you're supposed to do. And go build something great. Go do something, have some fun while you're at it, all right? And let's go separate ourselves from everybody else, all right? See you guys.